Hey everybody, my name is Ed. Okay, so it's been a couple of weeks, so we're going to do another comic book haul. As usual for the last several months or so, we'll start off with some newer stuff and then we'll work our way back. Okay, so first we've got She-Hulk #1. Okay, I think #2 is out, or it's going to be out in the next week or so. I really like this Adam Hughes cover here, and of course, since we're going to get the Disney Plus show, we're getting back to the sort of quote unquote classic She-Hulk. All right. King Conan #2. I'm mostly buying it for the Mahmoud Azur art. Jason Aaron's story is okay. I heard there was a minor controversy. This is issue 2. Issue 3 just came out. There was a minor controversy regarding an indigenous looking character. But I think what's happened is, I think somebody got upset because the character was named after Pocahontas' real name, and I think some people thought it was in questionable taste to use that name for this type of, scantily clad, chick in a, just your crazy fantasy story. So I think they're going to end up changing the name of that character from here on in. So, whatever. Uh, Black Widow #14. I think I read that 15 is going to be, 15 should be the end of this arc, and I think it's going to be the end of this series. So, all right. It went a little bit longer than I expected, but that's fine. That's about 15 issues, is about 3 trades worth, so that's a decent run these days. Again, another nice Adam Hughes cover, right? Now, I didn't know about this, but Marvel is doing like an Aliens comic, licensed Aliens comic. I'm a little bit surprised that there's not more talk about this, or they haven't hyped it or promoted it more. But I thought I'd give it a try. So here's issue 7. It says, "New art starts here." And then here's issue 8. I don't know too much about the writer Philip. Is this Philip Kennedy? But I have seen in the past the artist Salvador Lacora, and I have liked his art in the past. Wait, let me make sure. Oh, of course, it doesn't say in this one. Oh, here, Salvador Lacora. And I have liked his art in the past. It looks a little bit different, though. It actually looks a little bit stiffer than his normal, or than what I should say, than his superhero art. But I'm sure with it being kind of a moody sci-fi horror thing, he's trying something a little bit different. So, and then the next thing I got is Echolands 5. Alrighty. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so now we're going to get into some back issues. So I got Airboy 4. So this has actually been pretty fun. So basically, the premise is you've got Joe Robinson and the artist here. I keep forgetting his name, but they've been commissioned by somebody at Image, art and lettering by Greg Hinkle, to do a comic book based on the old Airboy character. And when they're supposed to be like working on a character instead of working on ideas for stories, they're out going to bars and getting high and getting drunk and picking up loose women. And then finally, the real Airboy kind of shows up and he's kind of shocked at the way these guys behaved and he's shocked at the way the modern world works and everything like that. But then the comic book creators somehow slide back into Airboy's world in World War II, and more hijinks ensue. And then this is going to be the wrap up here. So really interesting art, kind of really, it has a real kind of funky, almost underground, old 70s underground feel to it. So it's very, sex, drugs, rock and roll with a whole sort of meta commentary too on doing on comics and comics revivals and, what these golden age characters would think of the modern world and stuff like that. So it's mostly been fun. So, alrighty. Okay. And then we have Superior Foes of Spider-Man #5 and #6. So the writing has been by Nick Spencer, and the art is, let's see here, Steve Lieber. And basically, it's a pretty tongue-in-cheek story revolving around these kind of C-list Spider-Man villains. They're supposed to be a gang. They're supposed to be the Sinister Six, and the running gag is there's only 5 of them. And it's basically how Boomerang is trying to kind of get the gang together and pull off jobs and stuff, but they're kind of incompetent. And so, all sorts of hijinks ensue and blah, blah, blah. They can't pull off jobs. They're intimidated by more competent villains. There's a thing where they're afraid that the Punisher is going to show up. And it's pretty funny the way the different personalities kind of play off of each other. So it's a pretty good comic book. It's a little bit underrated, so lots of fun there. So this is 5. And this is 6. All right. And then Secret Avengers 35. Yep. 35. And 37. So the story is about stories written by Rick Remender, and the art is mostly artist by let's see here. Matteo Scalera. I don't know how I feel about this art. It's not bad art. It's okay. But basically what this story is, it has something to do with all the kind of androids and AIs in the Marvel Universe trying to rise up and take over whatever, which is kind of an interesting-ish story. So, you have the LMDs and the Adaptoids and looks like we have Sentinels in here as well. Like I said, it's okay. It's not great story-wise. There's lots of fun. There's lots of action. The art isn't bad, but I think they probably needed somebody a little bit slicker to kind of pull it off. So that's that. So, all right. And then we have Inhumans #4. The story is by Carlos Pacheco, and the art is by Jose Larone. And again, it's all right. I think I might have mentioned this maybe a month or 2 ago. But Ladrone does some really interesting art. He has this kind of Mobius meets Jack Kirby feel or style. But I think this coloring really brings it down. I mean, his artwork is so hyper detailed, but the colors is trying to put in all kinds of shading and whatnot to like each and every figure and object, and it actually kind of makes it look kind of muddy. You know what I mean? It's it would be a lot. It would have been a lot better off, I think, with just really simple flat colors. You know what I mean? So, or with somebody, or with an artist whose style isn't so, like I said, hyper detailed and whatnot. So that's all right. And then, just to wrap it up, I got Concrete by by Paul Chadwick, #3. Okay, it was critically acclaimed when it was coming out, but or I should say, it got good critical reviews. But people don't really talk about it that much. But so far, I've enjoyed the first couple issues I've read. The story about this guy who used to be a speechwriter for a politician or something, and somehow he got himself in this concrete body, and he tries to go out and do good deeds and does kind of superheroic stuff. And he's got reporters following him around. And he's got people working for the government, and there's a lot of it's very much about uh, public image and public relations and things of that nature. So it's been interesting so far. Um, so yeah, it's really interesting so far. So okay, all right. Then I bought Prince the official Prince Valiant #1 and #2. And I think I might have made a mistake getting these. I got them because Hal Foster is like supposed to be one of the, all-time comic strip greats. Big influence on people like John Buscema and all these old school comic book artists. But the thing is, I don't know. It looks like they repurposed the art so that it could fit a comic book page. But these aren't so bad. But some places it looks like it stands out. And I don't know, man. It might have been better. That's what it looks like. It might have been better if they had just left it the way it originally appeared in the comic strips, uh, even if they had to do like a horizontal thing. I would have been fine with that. But for some reason, it's not working. I don't know. Something just seems off. Like, here's a good example here, right? So you got this panel here. Then we move to this panel, whatever the fuck that's supposed to be. Then we move down to here. But then clearly this image is a blown up. Somebody blew up this image and then put it here to make it flow more naturally like in a comic book, comic book storytelling page. And I don't know, man. I just, it's not, it just probably been better if we saw it the way it was originally done, I think. So, all right, but that's fine. You still get some nice figure work and whatnot out of it. So, but I think next time I'll look for something that's just a little bit more representational of how the art originally appeared, back in the day. And then finally, Dealer McDope. All right. By Dave Sheraton. This is, actually, it's Underground Classics #2, Dealer McDope #1. And it's just some really, obviously, it's pretty much these kind of early, mid 70s, maybe even late 70s, hippie comics, sex and drugs and rock and roll and psychedelic, whatever. But just some really, speaking of hyper detailed art, just some crazy stuff going on here. And you just dig the kind of like all the cross hatching and the dual tone and everything like that. it's just some really, fascinating stuff here. Okay, so now here's one other page. Okay, then that's about it. Uh, yeah, that's it. I'm kind of slowly working on a couple other videos. I don't know when they'll come out because they're a little bit more detailed, and I'm talking about some stuff in a little bit more depth and whatnot. So, uh, hopefully, within the next few weeks, I'll have a little bit more free time. I'll be able to like work on those type of like more review type videos and get them up, over the next whenever. But then that's it. I got to thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. You guys have a great day.